back to the channel. I hope you're all doing very well. In today's video, I will be doing my official 2023 NRL Ladder Prediction video. Now, a lot of you guys have been waiting very patiently for my official ladder prediction video, so it's coming out today. It will be coming out as a premiere. It will come out around 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time here in New South Wales, or 6 p.m. here in New South Wales, 5 p.m. in Queensland, and 8 p.m. over there across the ditch in New Zealand, or even if you're from WA, it will come out at 2 p.m. or between 2 and 3 p.m. But without further ado, let's get into the ladder prediction video. Now, I did a early season ladder prediction video at the start of the year or towards the end of last year. It's going to be very similar, but there's going to be a couple of key changes where I think a certain team will finish in 2023. Now, I'll just say this is my personal opinion only. So if you agree or disagree with where I place your team, that's okay. Comment down below in the comment down in the comments where you think your team will finish in 2023, and give me your official ladder prediction if you want as well. This is my personal opinion. This is nothing against the teams. I don't hate any team in particular. I may say like the Titans suck, Newcastle suck, or even Manly suck, but that's just me being me, and it's just been it's just been an NRL fan. I mean, I just love the footy so much. You gotta hate some teams, but I don't hate any teams whatsoever in a personal way. So I'm not offending anyone if I don't place your team like in the top 8 or as wooden spooners or whatever. But I'll get into that when it comes to that. But without further ado, let's get into the ladder prediction video. And coming in at number 17 will be the Sir George Illawarra Dragons. Now, this is a bit of a surprising one. Now, a lot of creators are saying that the Dragons will come in around the bottom 4 this year. I would probably tend to agree. After all the off-season drama that's been happening with the Dragons and the board of directors and all that in the off-season, I can see why they will definitely be getting the bottom 4, but I think they will definitely get the wooden spoon in 2023. They've only signed a couple of mere players, like Jacob Little, who's alright, Zane Musgrove, both from the West Tigers, and probably their best signing so far, but Ben Masila from the New Zealand Warriors. Now, I reckon the off-season drama all started with three of the Dragons players attending their awards ceremony, probably due to not liking Anthony Griffith or whatever's happening behind the scenes down there. It's gotten even worse, and also Tatal Amone, who's their 5A, has been stood down after a bit of I'm not going to get into it, bit of an assault charge that's happened just before the pre-season started a couple of weeks ago. So it looks like he's going to be out for an indefinite time. We're not sure when he'll be back. I'll be surprised if he'll be back around the early part of the season or at all, but we'll just have to wait and see. And worst of all, they've lost probably their best fullback, Cody Ramsey, to an unfortunate illness. I think in his brain he's got it in, so it really sucks for him. I mean, he's a great young player. I was looking very excited to see Cody Ramsey go well in 2023, but they will most likely use Tyrell Sloan at the fullback position, which he plays terrible. I mean, it's just getting a lot more worse for the Dragons, and I'm sorry to say, but the Dragons don't deserve to get the wooden spoon this year. I mean, there are a couple of other teams that should get it, but I think the drama's going to get worse and worse for the Dragons. And the first coach, like I said in my prediction video, I reckon Anthony Griffith will be the first coach sacked in 2023, and I'm going to say he'll be sacked by Magic round 10. So I've got the Dragons coming in at 17th, getting the first ever wooden spoon as the Sir George Illawarra joint venture club. Coming in at number 16, I've got the Gold Coast Titans finishing in 16th place. Now, if you saw in my early ladder prediction video from earlier in the year or the end of last year, you might have saw that I put the Gold Coast Titans is coming to Wooden Spoon as well. I reconsidered for this video, and I believe the Titans are doing a slightly better than the Dragons. Not much, but at least up there they don't have the drama tension between players and the coach with Justin Holbrook. I think he's a fine coach, but other than that, Titans have recruited all right. They've got the likes of Kieran Foran from Manly, Sam Verrills. So that's two places in the spine they got. Now, Kieran Foran, I think he's probably the better signing out of all the signings they got. They've also got Joe Stimson and Aaron Schultz from the Bulldogs, and they've got Chris Randall from the Newcastle Knights. In exchange, they swapped out Chris Randall with Greg Muzzaloo. I think that was a pretty stupid decision to let go Greg Muzzaloo from the Titans, but hey, if you think you won. But I don't think Titans will. I think Titans are going to go downhill like they did last year. They were only lucky to avoid the Wooden Spoon in 2022, managing to win the last 3 out of 5 games, but only by 1 to 12 points or more, or less. Sorry. During those rounds. But I have the Gold Coast Titans coming in at number 16. They're gonna do terrible this year. I think they're going to be the worst Queensland team of all the. I even think the Dolphins will do just slightly better than them, but I'll get into that soon. So I'm going to say Gold Coast will finish in 16th place, and Justin Holbrook might be the first coach to be sacked, but I reckon he'll be sacked as well at some point. I think he might, if Titans are going to go worse, I think he'll be sacked by round 12. So Titans coming in 16th. Coming in at number 15, or coming in 15th, I've got the new team that's on the new kids on the block, the Dolphins as they are called. The Dolphins coming in 15th. Now the Dolphins are the new team coming in the 2023 NRL season. They will have their first game against the Sydney Roosters at Suncorp Stadium on the Sunday 4 o'clock game. Now I'm anticipating this is going to be a one-sided affair to the Roosters. I mean, we don't know how the Dolphins will go. I mean, sure, they've got a lot of experience in the Dolphins squad, but they're mainly older players, and we just found out that the inaugural captain for the Dolphins will be Jesse Bromwich. He was the captain for the Melbourne Storm for the past two to 3 seasons when Cameron Smith retired. So I think that's great that he is leading the Dolphins this year in 2023. Now the Dolphins, I think they're going to go all right this year. Sure, they're going to I'm sure Supercoach Wayne Bennett will find a way. Like he's done it with the Dragons from 2009 to 2011, the Knights to 2012 and 13, and I think 14, and then he also did without my team, the South Sydney Rabbitohs from 2019 to 2021, leading the Dragons to a grand final in 2010, and they won it. The Knights to a preliminary final in 2013, and the Rabbitohs to 3 consecutive preliminary finals and a grand final, but which they lost in 2021. So I'm sure Bennett will find a way to hopefully get the Dolphins. I'll be surprised if the Dolphins do make the top 8 in their first ever season, but I don't think they'll go up that far. I think probably 15th to 13th to 15th they'll probably go as high, but I got them coming in at number 15. So I think the Dolphins will go all right. And the most anticipated game against the Broncos in round 4 and round 18, Suncorp and Gabba respectively, it's going to spark up a potential rivalry between the two teams, to see who's the better team the Battle of Brisbane. You know, technically Redcliffe, that's where they're from. But Dolphins will have most of their games at Suncorp Stadium this year. So I've got the Dolphins in their first ever season coming in 15th. Coming in 14th place to round up my bottom 4 teams will be the West Tigers. Now last year the Tigers had an abysmal season, claiming their first ever Wooden Spoon as a joint venture club in 2022. They only got 4 wins and 20 losses in 2022, but I do see the Tigers improving a bit this year. Now they have recruited very well. I think they're one of one of the few bottom 8 teams to recruit very well in the off season. They've got the likes of Aparo Coruscant, Isaiah Papali'i, Charlie Staines from the Panthers, David Nofaluma returns from Melbourne. I think David Clemmer, I think that's a great signing, but it's just with age, that's probably the only concern. And John Bateman, which is a shock from the Wigan Warriors up there in the Super League up there in the UK, which that's a surprise. Now Tigers recruit very well, like I said, but it's just the age of what the players they sign. They're getting a lot more older. Aparo Coruscant, he's in his 30s already. John Bateman's 29. And Isaiah Papali'i, I think he's about the mid-20s, I believe. I could be wrong about that. But Tigers have recruited very well. Now, as long as they have their halves combinations right. So if you have... So I believe their halves combinations are going to be likely Adam Dewey and... I don't want to say this play, but Luke Brooks, he's been one of the most unproven players from all these years. I think this will be his last year at the Tigers, honestly, if it doesn't go all well. And the rumour that Dane Laurie is going to be at 5'8" or halfback rather than fullback, I think that's going to be a terrible decision and it's not going to work out. But anything is possible. But having experienced play like Aparo Coruscant as their starting hooker, I think that was a great decision. But age is coming up with him, and if he goes down injured, the only other player they got really is Jake Simkin, which plays terrible. At least they got rid of Jacob Little because he plays terrible. But I do see the Tigers improving this year, so that's why I got them. But I don't think they'll go as high as 13th or 12th. I'll be surprised if they make it to 11th or higher. But I definitely see the Tigers are going up. They are going up. And I'm hoping they don't get a back-to-back wooden spoon. If that's the case, 2024 is going to be a humiliating year for up there for the black and orange Tigers. But I definitely see them improving a lot this year, so I got them coming in 14th. Alright, now we're coming into the part where any teams between 9th and 13th could make a chance to make the top 8, but may not. So coming in at 13th, I have the Newcastle Knights. Now the Knights have been one of the better teams of recruiting for the 2023 NRL season. They have signed the players of Adam Elliott. I think that's a great signing. So he'll be their lock or even play on the bench, which he'll guard the back row for the Newcastle Knights. They've also signed Jack Harrington and also probably the best one or one of the better ones, Jackson Hastings. As long as he plays in the halves, whether it's probably as a halfback is better. Not if he goes as a lock, and that's going to be the Knights' most disappointing, or one of the more disappointing signings of 2023. He doesn't play well at lock. I don't know why he came out and said playing lock is a good thing. Why? You were signed to be a halves combination, not a fucking lock. Well, excuse my language, but it's the Tigers' loss to a Knights gain. So if they don't utilise Jackson Hastings well, and it's going to be probably one of the worst buys of 2023 for the Knights. And they've also got Greg Marzhew from the Gold Coast Titans. I think that's a great signing as well. Him fighting along with Highmore Hunt for the left wing. It's going to be interesting. I think having Dominic Young on the right wing, is fantastic because Dom Young could be a breakout player for the Newcastle Knights, and he's rumoured to go to a Sydney club, potentially us, for 2024. It is beyond amazing. If he goes to a Sydney club, I won't be surprised if he goes to the Rabbitohs. He's going to be going there most likely. I'll be surprised if it doesn't happen. That's the case. But anyways, going off topic, and just a couple of days ago as well, after this recording, they've also signed Lachlan Miller from the Cronulla Sharks. So it looks like they're going to be putting Lachlan Miller at fullback, while they're going to be putting Kalen Ponga at 5'8". Now, I think having Ponga at 5'8" is questionable. It's like, why put him at 5'8"? Yeah, he was 5'8" in 2019 or 2020, and that didn't go very well for Ponga. So, but with the numerous amount of concussions he's been receiving for in the past couple seasons, it seems like he's going to be out for an indefinite period of time if he keeps up with the concussion. So if he goes down, who's your backup 5'8"? Got Tyson Gamble. I think that's a pretty useless signing if you're not going to use him, and I don't think he's going to be the 14th player, because I think Jackson Hastings and Ponga will be the halves combinations, while Lachlan Miller's at fullback. So although the Knights have recruited well, the way that they're putting their players in, I think that's terrible. Ponga at 5'8", I don't think that's a good decision. But to have Miller at fullback to make that happen is okay. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. See if Ponga will play for round 1 at this stage. But so other than that, the Knights have recruited well, so I've got them finishing in 13th. Coming in at number 12, I've got the New Zealand Warriors. The New Zealand Warriors are the most unpredictable team currently in the NRL, probably alongside the Canberra Raiders as well, which I'll get into very soon. So the Warriors, they have recruited well as well in the off-season. They've got Morata Nikoro from the Eels, Luke Metcalf from the Sharks, Dylan Walker, who can be used as a centre, winger, or even lock, but he's going to be the jersey 14 most likely, and Channels Nicole Closter as their fullback, and Tadare Martin, who'll be their 5'8", because Charles Tavita Harris is on leave for extended amount of time. I think they're all great signings. Eddie Mitchell Barnett, which I believe he plays second row, I think he'll fit fine after Jack Murchie's gone to the Parramatta Eels. I think he'll fit in very well. Now, New Zealand Warriors will return to New Zealand for their first season, for their first full season for the first time since 2019. So I reckon the Warriors, I think they're a bit unappreciated, honestly. Everyone's been running them off, saying they're going to come in the bottom 4. Well, I tend to disagree. Sure, they finished in 15th in 2022, but they had a rough year. Especially, they had a lot more heavy losses than more than any other team, I believe, or one of the one more teams that lost big time. But I definitely see the Warriors improving a lot in 2023. I reckon they will win most of their home games there in New Zealand. But the only concern is they must win many games across in Australia. Now, they haven't done that much due to the COVID situation for the past couple of years, but because they're back in New Zealand for a full season, I expect the Warriors to go strong but go very well and potentially win most of their, or even win all of their home games. I mean, I'll be surprised if that's the case, but I think they're going to be strong in 2023. If they don't win many games in New Zealand, then it's going to be a bit of a disappointment. But nothing wrong with the Warriors. So I reckon I could even see the Warriors making the top 8. Oh, I'll be surprised if that's the case, but probably not this year, but definitely next year if they do improve a lot. So I've got the Warriors finishing in 12th, coming in for a full season in 2023. So I reckon they will do a lot more better than 2022. So 12th place they will finish. Coming in 11th place is, this one's probably going to be the most controversial one, and I've got the Canberra Raiders coming in at 11th place. Now, this one was a bit tough to place the Raiders. I had to at least put one or two teams to miss the top 8, and if there had to be one, it had to be the Canberra Raiders. Now, everyone's been running them off to finish lower than 11th, but I think 11th is a suitable place for them. Now, they have only recruited only 2 players as of this recording, pretty much. So they've got Palasami Solo from the Newcastle Knights and Danny Levi returning to the NRL for the first time in a couple of years from the Huddersfield Giants from there in the Super League. but they've lost a bit of experience as well. They have lost Ryan Sutton to the Dogs, Charles Nicol Corstar to the Warriors, Adam Elliott to the Knights, and probably one of their bigger ones, Josh Hudson, even though he's bit of an injury prone, which I'll get into that with the Eagles soon. Losing their key hooker is going to be a bit burner, but I think Tom Starling, who I believe will be their main hooker, or starting hooker rather, will do very well in Hudson's absence. Jack Whitehead and Jamal Fogarty as a halves combination is going to be great. The back line is good as well. Now, with Jared Croker, I don't think he'll play many games. Sure, he only needs, I believe, 8 games to get to 300, but I don't think he'll be in the starting side just due to his age, and he's been picking up a couple injuries lately. And yeah, so I'll see the Raiders doing. I think Raiders will go downhill. Now, they only just made the top 8 in 2022 because the Broncos ultimately sucked in the back end of the season, and that's the Raiders were just lucky. And yes, they made it to the second week of the semi-finals, but they were belted by the Parramatta Eels. So I definitely think that the Raiders will do a bit worse because 2021 they didn't make the top 8. Last year they barely made the 8, but this year I don't think they will make it. But I won't be surprised. Won't rule out the Raiders will make the 8. I won't be surprised if they do make the 8. But I'll be surprised if they finish any lower than 11. So I've got the Raiders coming in at 11th. Coming in 10th place is, I think this team is going to do better, but not that much better. I reckon the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles will finish in 10th place. Now, I've got Manly coming in at 10th place, not because of what's been going on with Tommy Turbo. I mean, they rely on pretty much him to carry the team. I think that should stop, honestly, because having one player lead a team is not going to help the team make the finals if he's a bit of an injury prone. Now, Tommy Turbo, I reckon, going to the United States to go get the same treatment on his hamstring like Latrell Mitchell did last year. I think that was great, and I'm hoping he can play very well and stay healthy for Manly at least. If he plays at least 15 games, that will be great. But if he goes down injured again, then Manly's going to struggle big time. I mean, well, Manly were in the top 8 at a point in 2022, but due to the Pride Round saga and all that, they didn't win a single game towards the back end of the season. Now, they were very close a couple of times, but because of the Pride saga, and if this happens again, like if there's going to be a Pride Round or whatever rumour, and I'm hoping that's not the case, then I think a lot of players are not going to play. This is not just for Manly, this is also for every club. So at least half the squad will not be playing. But I reckon Manly will do better, but I think they will just miss out on the top 8 this year. I won't be surprised if they do make the 8. I'll be surprised if they finish any lower than 11th, which just means that they're going to be going downhill now. They've got a new coach in Anthony Seibold after Des Hasler was sacked towards the end of last year. Now, Anthony Seibold was a former Rabbitohs coach. Although he led the Rabbitohs to a preliminary final, he decided to, he doesn't want to stay at Redfern. He just decided to go to Brisbane. And that didn't go well, as Brisbane got a wooden spoon in his second season as a coach up there, even though he left before. Even though he left the club before the Broncos got the spoon officially in 2020. So from what I'm willing to give Seibold at least this year to prove why he's the coach for 2024, coach for Manly. If it doesn't go well, then I'll probably see Manly not doing very well at all this year. Now, they've only signed Keller Talungi and Ben Condon from the West Tigers and the Cowboys respectively. So, and they've lost a bit of experience in Kieran Foran, Dylan Walker, Andrew Davey, and Martin Tapau. Now, that's a bit of a big loss for Manly, but I reckon they will go alright. They'll do a bit better than last year, but I reckon they'll just miss out on the 8. So I have them coming in 10th. And now rounding off the bottom 9, or bottom 8 if you still want to call it, or whatever, coming in ninth place. A lot of people are probably not going to be happy about it, but it's whatever. It's going to be the Brisbane Broncos finishing in ninth. Now, this one was a bit of a tough decision. Should the Broncos make the top 8, or should they just miss out? Now, I was 50-50 on this decision. Now, the Broncos have done a lot more better in the last couple of years since they've gotten the wooden spoon in 2020. Now, they only just missed out on making the top 8 last year, but it completely backfired. They were in 4th place, or in the top 4, with 5 rounds to go. And they managed to fumble and finish in 9th place, making the Raiders make the top 8. Now, I hope the Broncos have learnt from this and they will not repeat the end of 2022. Now, the Broncos will be like one of the more affected teams for the Women's FIFA World Cup. They may struggle at the Gabba, although it's in Brisbane. They have never played there before. There has not been a rugby league game, I believe, at the Gabba at all, because that's the grounds used for the cricket and I believe the AFL as well. Now, they have signed players like Reece Walsh and Martin Tapau. Now, Martin Tapau is a bit of a surprising one. I thought he would have been going to a New South Wales, like another New South Wales team, but going to Brisbane, I think that's great. Like, he'll be there for experience, and I think he'll be starting from the bench most likely. We'll just wait and see. And Broncos have got a talented squad. Like, they've got Reece Walsh returning from the Warriors, which I think that was a disaster to go to Warriors if that was the case. They've got Jock Madden from the Tigers, which he could play a couple games if Azraz Lamb or Adam Reynolds is out for a period of time. But Broncos have got they've got Cobbo, they've got Oates on the wings, Walsh as their fullback, Reynolds and Ezra Alarm as their half combinations. The only problem would be their the hooker. Billy Walters is going to be the starting hooker. Now, that's a bit of a surprising thing. Billy Walters is okay, but I don't think he's the best hooker for them. I probably would have gone for Corey Prax to be the hooker, but if he's a jersey 14, then that's fine. But it's probably only the hooker position for the Broncos is probably going to be the most affected for their squad in 2023. So I won't be surprised if they do make the 8, but I think for this year only, they will just miss out on the top 8. But I reckon next year they will definitely make the top 8. So I've got them finishing in 9th. Alright, now we are in the top 8 now. Now, coming in 8th place, this is going to be probably the more controversial one, in that the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs will finish in the top 8, coming in at 8th place. Now, the Bulldogs have been one of the more hyped up teams in the off-season as they've recruited a lot of great players. They've got like Vladimir Kikau, Reid Marnie, Ryan Sutton, Andrew Davey, and a lot of great players that have signed with this club. And everyone, about 50-50 decision that everyone of saying that Bulldogs will make the top 8 or they won't. Well, I believe the Bulldogs, they will make the top 8. Now, if they don't make the top 8, like 9th or 10th, then that's fine. That means they've improved a lot, and in 2024 will be definitely a great year for them. But if they don't finish any higher than what they finished in 2022, 12th, and they're going to be one of the more disappointing teams in recent memory, in recent years. So, but they've lost a bit of experience too, like Jerry Marshall King, Aaron Schwab, Joe Stimson, Jack Harrington, and Paul Vaughan, and especially Josh Jackson, who had another year or two on his contract and shockingly retired. So Bulldogs will need a new captain. I believe at this stage they're probably going to go Josh Adokar and Reid Marnie as the captains, but I could be wrong about it. They got the likes of Matt Burton And I think Kyle Flanagan, if he's going to be in the halfback, I think Matt Burton is going to be a great player carrying the team. I think Bulldogs will be an unstoppable team, definitely this year. But if they don't make the 8, then I won't be surprised. But I'll be disappointed if they don't finish any higher than 10th. But so I've got the Bulldogs coming in 8th place. Coming in at number 7 is a team that's going to be dropping a lot after their grand final loss in 2022, and I'm talking about the Parramatta Eels coming in 7th place. Now, a lot of people have been writing off the Eels, saying they will not make the top 8 in 2023 after a one-sided affair in the grand final against the Penrith Panthers. Now, I beg to differ. Sure, a team that lost the grand final may struggle, like for example the Rabbitohs. They made the top 4 in 2021, but finished at 7th last year, but they made it to a preliminary final. Now, a lot of people wrote us off in that year, and we made a preliminary final. Sure, we didn't win it, but we still made it. But Eels have lost a lot of key players in Reid Marnie and Isaiah Papali'i to the Bulldogs and West Tigers respectively. And with the addition of Josh Hodgson, I've been their hooker. Now, he is very injury prone. I believe that was his third or fourth or even 5th ACL injury he's had in his career. So it looks like the hooker position, just like the Broncos, is going to be the most affected out of all the starting spots for the Parramatta Eels in 2023. They have also recruited Jermaine Hopgood from the Panthers, which I think that's great. And Jack Murchie, a bit underrated as well. I reckon he'll blend in with the side very well, and I believe he's going to start in the second row. So I see the Eels struggling a bit in 2023, but top 4 is not out of the equation for them. Won't be surprised if they do make the 4, but I definitely see him coming in 7th. Coming in 6th place is a bit of a surprising one as well. Now, I've got the Cronulla Sharks finishing in 6th place. Now, this is going to be probably the most surprising one for the top 8. Now, sure, the Sharks finished in 2nd place from finishing in 9th place in 2021 and finishing 2nd in 2022. Now, Sharks, that's because Sharks had an easy draw pretty much in 2022. But what happened in the finals series, in the preliminary final, the qualifying final, and especially the semi-final against the Rabbitohs, where they were dealt it 38-12. That just shows you how inconfident the Sharks can be. But I'll give them that the Sharks did very well of finishing in 2nd position, which that was a surprise, because not many people expected the Sharks to finish in the top 8 last year, but I think the Sharks may drop a bit this year. Now, I won't be surprised if they do make the top 4, but nonetheless, it'll be a bit surprising to see how well they will go. Now, they haven't really signed anyone. They've only signed like Organ Confusi from the Eels, which I think he will be great if he starts on the bench or even starts on the team. And they've only lost like players as they've lost Aiden Tolman and Andrew Fafita, which they both played in the front row and back row, I believe. Fafita was the front row, and I think Tolman was the back row. But they've also lost Luke Metcalf to the Warriors, and shockingly Lachlan Miller. Now, the Sharks have unfortunately already suffered their first injury. They've lost, I think, Brian Stykes, who was their other fullback in case of... Kate Dykes. They've lost him to an ACL injury in pre-season training. Now that was very unexpected, and that's very unfortunate. Now, he was going to be the backup fullback in case of William Kennedy, who's their starting fullback, would be out injured or whatever. But it's very unfortunate for the Sharks, and it was on his 21st birthday as well, which that's even more sad. He was having a great time, and he just suffered his ACL injury out of nowhere. So that's a big blow for the Sharks, but regardless, I think the Sharks will do very well in 2023, but they will drop a bit So we'll have them coming in 6. Coming in at 5th place is probably going to be a bit of a tough one. Coming in at 5th place is going to be the Melbourne Storm. Now what happened with Melbourne last year was shocking, but I reckon Melbourne will go better in 2023. But I won't be surprised if they do make the top 4 as revenge of not making the top 4 last year after what happened in the last 2 games of the season. And because they were a very injured prone team last year as well. But I definitely see Melbourne struggling a bit in 2023 as they have lost a ton of experience in the back row. They've lost Jesse Bromwich. They've lost Ellis Kafusi. So they've lost Jenny and Kenny Bromwich to the Dolphins. David Lofa-Luma goes back to the Tigers. Felice Kafusi, he's gone. And the biggest of all, Brendan Smith to the Roosters. Now, luckily, they've got a great halfback in Harry Grant, but I think Brendan Smith, who's the more experienced hooker of the two, is a bit of a big blow. So I think Melbourne will feel about that when they will play against each other as well, the Roosters and the Storm, which I'll get into that very soon. But they have signed a couple of great players as Elish Katoa, Tarek Sims, and Aaron Panay from the Warriors and Dragons respectively. So they've covered their back row well. And they've got another player, Joe Chant. I don't know anything about him other than he's from the Catalan Dragons. So I think that's a great signing for the for the Storm, sorry. Because I say Catalan Dragons, that's why I said to George. But so I think Melbourne will do better in 2023, and Cameron Munt's pretty much hands down the best player in the team. Jerome Hughes, great halves combinations, they'll carry the team as well. And the thing with Ryan Papenhuyzen, now it's unknown how long he'll be out for. Now he has recently returned from the United States from his serious knee injury that he suffered in 2022, and I think he'll be out for the first couple of rounds. I think he'll be back by round 5 at this stage. I have no idea, but it'll be somewhere around there. But as long as he remains healthy after that, when he comes back, and I think that Melbourne will be an unstoppable team. But I think they'll just miss out on the top 4, coming in 5th place. Now we are on to the top 4. Now, 2 of them will be surprising, but we'll get into that. Coming in 4th place is a bit of a shock, but it's going to be my team, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, I've got our team coming in 4th place, not because I'm being biased. No. If you think I'm being biased, then go away, because I don't want to hear about it. But I've got a relatively great reason. Now, Rabbitohs have not signed anyone at all in the off season, which sure that's surprising, but with the re-signing of Latrell, Cody Walker, and Damien Cook, and along with Karen Murray, Alex Johnson, Campbell Graham, and all of our back row and front rows, I reckon we're going to be an unstoppable team in 2023. Now, the only concern is, yes, age with Walker and Cookie, one injury and could spiral the team out of control, and origin period will be an affected time as well. But I have great confidence our team can make the top 4 in 2023. I'll be even surprised if we finish in 2nd or 1st, but I won't be surprised if we do finish like 5th, 6th or 7th or whatever. But I'll definitely say we will definitely make the top 8, top 4. Bit of a bold one, but I reckon we'll get there. And I know, yes, we've made 5 preliminary finals in a row. Now, it's not because we can't win it. We can win it because we beat Manly to make the grand final in 2021. But I reckon with the experience from the squad, I reckon we're going to be a great team in 2023. So I've got my team, the boys, finishing in 4th place. coming in third place is a bit of a surprise as well, but not really. I've got the Penrith Panthers coming in third place. Now, you may say, yes, Penrith are looking to do a three-peat. Well, I don't think that's going to happen in this year. Sure, they may make the grand final, but I'm hoping they don't win it. Yeah. But other than that, Penrith are the most unstoppable team since 2020, and no wonder they've made the last 3 grand finals, and they are currently the back-to-back defending premiers. Now, Penrith have lost 2 key players in the off-season. They've lost Valami Kikau and Aparai Coruscant. Now, losing a great second rower and a hooker is bit disappointing for the Panthers, but they've got like Luke Garner, Tyrone Peachy, and Zach Hosking signed, so I reckon they'll cover. But they've got Mitch Kenny, which I think he plays great as the starting 14 or the 14, jersey 14, but he's going to be the starting hooker now. But with the experience of Cappy gone or Aparai gone, I think Penrith might be a bit more beatable in 2023. So they're definitely a top 4 team, guarantee. But I will be surprised if they don't finish in the top 4 this year. There might be time where they will struggle eventually, but I don't think they will struggle that much at all. But they'll be a bit more beatable this year, but I reckon they'll finish in third place. Coming in at second place, I got the North Queensland Cowboys finishing in second. Now, after what happened in 2022 for the Cowboys as a shocking result, could they repeat of what they did that year? I reckon they can. Sure, they had not made the finals in a couple of years since 2017, but they made it to a preliminary final. Controversial. They should have made the grand final after what happened to the result, but they made it to a home preliminary final. People say they can't win in Sydney. Bullshit. They won about half of their games in 2022 in Sydney, and they've got 7 games, I believe, down in Sydney, and I think they can all win. Even beat the Rabbits. Sure, they didn't beat us, but that wait till round 7 when that comes. But I definitely see the Cowboys. The Cowboys have not signed anyone pretty much. Sure, they've lost the hammer Aparai Fadela to the Dolphins, but that's probably only their biggest loss, key player. But I definitely see the Cowboys after everyone wrote them off coming wooden spooners or whatever. I reckon they can definitely do a repeat of 2022, even better. I won't be surprised if they do get the minor premiership, but I will be surprised if they don't make the top 8, or if they finish just outside the top 4, like from 5th or 6th. I think that would be fine as well. But I've got the Cowboys finishing in second place. And then my 2023 NRL minor premiers coming in first place. The team that probably should have won the minor premiership at least, or one of the teams that should have won it in 2022, is the Sydney Roosters. Now, the Roosters are going to have a big year this year. Sure, I might say I hate the Roosters here. I do hate the Roosters because of the rivalry between the Roosters and Rabbitohs, but that's on the field. Off the field, the Roosters are a great squad. They've got a lot of experience with the addition of Brendan Smith coming into the squad as well. Like, you've got James Tedesco, you've got Sam Walker, Luke Keary, and now Brendan Smith as your spine. Arguably, that could be that's the best spine in the entire game right now. And then their back line of James Tedesco, Daniel Tupou, Joseph Suawai, Daniel Tupou, Joseph Manu, etc. Well, and I think Bailey Simonson as well. I reckon they're going to be a bit unstoppable this year, and they'll have their first season back at Allianz Stadium as well for the first time since 2018. They've been at Allianz. Yeah, I know they were there last year, but they only had 2 games there. Well, 1 regular season game and 1 final series game there. But I reckon the Roosters will finish in first place this year, and finishing in first place and claiming the minor premiership for the first time since 2018 have won the minor premiership. But anyways, everyone, that will conclude my 2023 NRL Ladder Prediction video. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment down below if you agree or disagree with where I place your team, and comment down below what your ladder prediction is, and even comment down below what your top 8 will be, or even your grand final. Now, my grand final, like I did a prediction video earlier in the year of grand final, and I'm going to stick to it. Rabbitohs and Roosters, I believe they will be the teams. They will make the 2023 NRL grand final. And I was meant to say Paul Morawinsky, sorry, not Bailey Simonson. Bailey Simonson's at the Eels. Sorry for that mistake. But anyways, everyone, this will conclude the ladder prediction video. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. We are only just under 30 days away until the NRL season starts. Can't wait for the season to start. The trials will be starting next Thursday as well. We'll be doing a couple videos relating to the trials as well. The Rugby League series, Rugby League Live 4 series will be returning for the trials. I will be doing only certain games. I'm not going to say which games yet, but you can guarantee the All-Stars will be one of them as well. But without further ado, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed my ladder prediction video, and this video will come out as a premiere sometime later on today between 4 and 6 p.m. I might have mixed up the times, but that's right. It just depends on, because I've got other stuff to do as well today. But anyways, everyone, this will come towards the end of the premiere / video. If you're not watching this right away, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. We are up to 584 subscribers. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers sometime in 2023. I'm hoping we can get there. Without further ado, this will conclude the video, and I'll see each and every one of you in the next video. Take care.